Hello everyone, I'm Ruan and welcome back to week number 12 of learning computer science in 2 years. Let's get straight into my timesheet, shall we? Okay, so this week it went pretty well. I got to, let's see, what's this sum to? 24.5 hours. Now this is not, obviously, I'm falling short of the 30-hour goal, I know, but it's not a bad week, right? So the main reason why I didn't really get there is kind of a motivational reason. I'll tell you about that a bit later when I actually give the feedback on the different courses that I did this week. So there was a specific course that was causing me a bit of an issue, and that is why I didn't really get there. Anyway, so let's actually talk about what I did this week. So first of all, programming languages part C. Like I said last week, I only needed to do the test again, the final exam. So I did that quickly and got a passing grade, 88%, very nice. So that was like half an hour in the beginning of the week, and then that was it. So then I was able to do the other things. So the one big thing I did was my project. So I finalized the new feature that I wanted to implement. So I actually want to show you what that new feature is. So if you remember, the feature was, so we can go to the website, and the feature was basically a Google Maps implementation, right? So everything else is the same. So if we look at this, we are on the website here. Now this is obviously locally hosted again, just for the demonstration. I can't go on the live one because then I mess with the live databases, etc. So I'm just working on this one. But anyway, the rest, this is the same. So you can see here, we can still select our jumping castles. Let's do 4. I already selected that on the previous one, and here we are. So now we can place our, we can put our booking here. So let's just fill in some nonsense values here at test. Okay, dot whatever nonsense. Okay, but here's actually the thing I wanted to show you. So we have the little Google map embedded into the website. Very nice, eh? And you have these fields. So you can now type an address. Let's say 50, I don't know, Kudubesi Avenue, this one, okay? So it takes you, it puts a little green arrow, that is where that is. What it also does, and this is very subtle, you might have missed it, is it immediately calculates the optional extras for the specific booking. So you can see here, it tells you the distance is 3.2 kilometers. That is also retrieved for this calculation of the cost for delivery, which is 70 Rand. And it also gives you the cost for the setup and takedown of the castles. So that's an extra 800 Rand, which is 200 Rand per castle of labor. So what you can do then is now you can actually see what these costs are. And you can say, yes, please, I do want delivery, but you know what, the extra the setting ups, that's too expensive, right? Or let's say you actually want it to be set up, but then for some reason you don't want it delivered. Now, what happens when I click this button? That wouldn't make sense, right, if you think about it. How can you ask for a setup fee, but you don't actually want us to come to your house to deliver it? How can we set up what we don't deliver? But if you click that, it actually knows that, listen, this is not legal. And it automatically goes back to no thanks, and I can do whatever I want. This doesn't work. It says, sorry, but setup only available if delivery is requested. And, well, that's it. And you can now change this address again. So let's say 125 Peter Road in that place. Here we have another one. This one is very far away, it seems. So the delivery is 120. So again, well, no, it's not that far. It's 6 kilometers. But it automatically updated the cost for the delivery and this one, but it's the same, right? Because it's still the same amount of castles. And it actually refreshes your selections here so that you can actually go and make a new selection. Or if you want to decide, okay, you know what, this is actually not that great. So for whatever reason, if you want to change the address. So that was one of those edge cases that I needed to work on. Once you get through this, you can click Generate Quote, and it gives you a breakdown. So this is not something it did previously. Previously, you would not get this page. It would just say, thank you for booking, and it sends all the information to the admin person, and they will then do the confirmation of the booking, etc., etc. So that'll still happen, but it'll only happen once you click Accept Terms plus Confirm Quote. Now, this was put here explicitly because we were having problems with people, going all out, requesting 10 castles, and they're not 10, but they wouldn't actually know how expensive it got. If you don't see these numbers add up as you go, you kind of don't know how much it adds up to. So this one's already adding up to 3,300 Rand. And a lot of people won't even know that. They will just make a booking, whatever, and then they get the invoice and it's a big surprise, and then they want to change their order or update, and that is just, it's annoying, right? It's just annoying because now you have to deal with these changes. I had to build specific functionality to make these changes. It's a lot of admin that you need to go through to make these changes as the admin person. All of that's not very nice, right? So I wanted to get rid of that issue. And I think this is how we get there, right? We tell them, listen, upfront, this is what it's going to be. So you either are happy with this or you click the cancel quote button. If you click cancel quote, it just throws you back to the home page as you saw. So that's the functionality. It doesn't seem like a lot, right? But it really changed the way this website functions for us. It helps us out a lot more doing it this way. And the fact that you don't have to now physically go and calculate these distances yourself and then put them in for the invoice, etc., it all just happens automatically. It's actually quite a time saver. So it's quite nice. Anyway, so that's that for the project. Let's talk about some of the other stuff that happened this week. So object-oriented design. Now this is where it happened. I actually have a little list of stuff here that I wanted to discuss. So this might take a bit of a time. Might take a bit longer than usual, but basically I spent around 9 hours or something like that on this course, 9.5 hours. Technically not really, because the first 4 hours or something like that was just doing a Java course. So they actually recommend that you do an introductory Java course from Free Code Camp, which is about a 4-hour video on YouTube. That you can just watch. You can code along. It's very nice. It's actually a very good YouTube video. It's actually referenced on the OSSU page as the prerequisite for the object-oriented design course, right? Okay, that's fine. So I did that. I quite enjoyed that. I did code along, etc., but I didn't try and, master Java or anything. It was just an introductory course after all. And it also felt quite familiar because we already did Ruby in Programming Languages Part C, which is purely object-oriented, so it wasn't as mind-bending a concept to think in terms of objects now, right? So I was quite familiar with this. However, after that, that's when things started going a bit sideways. It just was not a great experience. Up to now, I've been having great experiences with basically every single course that I did. And yeah. It happened eventually that a course came along that just wasn't as good. Why wasn't it as good? What was bothering me about this course? It just didn't feel right, okay? Here it is. I have a couple of points, 6 points that I want to run through quickly. I don't want to, rant about this or anything. You can still take the course. It's perfectly fine, but let me give you my impression, at least. So first of all, and this is actually a big deal. I didn't think it would be such a big deal, but as soon as they introduced the course like this, I was immediately like, oh no, I don't know about this. So the very first thing, they introduce you to the presenter. I'm like, well, okay, oh no, some professor. No, not some professor. This is actually an actor. So they got an actor, which I think she's some student at the university, recently graduated or something like that. I'm not entirely sure. But it's an actor, right? She's an actor. They got her to come and read a script in front of a PowerPoint presentation. That's what this is. You are not getting a lecture, let's say, from a very experienced computer science professor. Yes, they might have written the script or the course content, but you're still getting a person reading from a teleprompter or whatever and basically presenting a slideshow. I don't exactly know how to explain what I felt when I saw that, but yeah, it didn't sit right with me. It didn't feel right. I didn't enjoy watching this person read a teleprompter to me. And I could tell that is what was happening. So I didn't feel like it was as engaging. I felt disengaged from this course far more than any other course. Like, the other courses were very engaging. You could tell the people had a passion for what they were talking about. They understood the intricacies of of the programming languages, etc., and the problems that you were facing. They really had a depth of knowledge that you can feel it through the screen. It's different. It's just different. The connection just wasn't there. That was the first thing, and that was quite a big thing for me. Maybe it shouldn't have been. Maybe I'm wrong to feel that way, but that's just what it is, right? The next thing, okay, it was a PowerPoint presentation mostly. There's very little code. And this is kind of a problem for me because they explain a lot of concepts for design principles and stuff like that and patterns, etc., which are good. I can see why they are good. But without having, problem sets and code for you to actually implement certain design patterns or principles, you are kind of just missing it, right? You don't get that practice. It doesn't seep in. Feels like it's like in the one ear and out the other. If you get my meaning, it's not. You don't actually get into it. You don't sit and work on some coding problem. You just get told what you are supposed to do because that's proper design principles. And I'm sure they are correct, but there's something about experiencing the design principle, using it for a specific problem. They give you a lot of examples of how you could use it, and they use a lot of analogies to real world things to try and explain the different design concepts. So I completely understand it. It's just, it's weird because we don't get to use it that often. That's a bit of an issue. And then once you get to a point where you are going to use it, the final project. So I literally got through this whole course. So I got to the final project and they expect you to basically work on or edit or whatever you want to call it, an Android application. And this was again another problem that I had. We've already learned so many languages. Like every single time we get into a new thing, we have to learn a new language. We have to set up the development environment. You have to install a bunch of things. All of this is happening. And it's the same with Java. When I started with the Java, I had to get a new IDE, etc., just to get Java working. And then they tell me, look, we're actually not just going to work on some Java application. We're going to make a whole flippin' Android application. I mean, when I saw that, I immediately knew that, look, there's going to be a lot of things that I need to install, that I need to get. Do I have the right versions? Is this going to work? Will my code compile on this version? Because remember, they're using very old versions of Android. They're not using the current one. And I honestly, I didn't want to do that again. Why couldn't I just have used Java? Just like that. I have the IDE, Eclipse. I have Eclipse installed. I just did that because it was a prerequisite. So just let me use Eclipse. Let me go, give me a code file, give me a package, give me a couple of Java files, and let me go play around there to use some of these design principles. No, that's not what they wanted. They wanted Android application, and it was quite a big ask, so I didn't go that route. I just skipped the final project, right? Not a great thing, I know, but I skipped it, maybe for now, maybe forever. We'll see how I feel. Because here's the next problem. All the assignments are peer reviewed. Now I paused a little bit there because they are peer reviewed, all of them. That's all they are. At least with the programming languages, you would submit your code, there will be a bunch of tests run on your code, and then they would give you a score. They'd tell you, look, all the tests passed. Well done, you have a solid piece of code that you submitted. Not this course. All they do is they just pass on everything you get, everything you give them. They pass it on to a different student, and they will then mark it or comment on it somehow. I don't know how you feel about that, but I didn't feel great. I don't really think that will mean much to me. For me, it's better just to get the solution myself and mark my own code, review my own code. Give me the solution and I'll work through it myself. I don't see the point for submitting it for peer review. And then obviously you have to review other people's work first before they give you your reviewed thing back. And that was kind of, I don't know, it didn't feel right because now you're applying design principles, but you're not being reviewed by some professional. You're just being reviewed by another student who's probably also not very interested or impressed by the fact that they have to do peer reviews now. I just don't think the quality is going to be questionable at best. All the quizzes, so the quiz, obviously, so this is point number 5, believe it or not. It feels like I've been rambling for a bit. But the quiz, you can get a mark for. However, they put it behind a paywall. So you can do the quiz, you can tick all the boxes and etc. but you cannot submit it. You need to upgrade to the premium version before you can submit any quiz. Now, the quizzes are only like, they're very basic multiple choice stuff, right? But still, I mean, that's at least one thing that you could have used to, I don't know, kind of feel like you're learning it and you're being tested on what you've learned. They at least test whether or not you were paying attention when you were watching the video. But no, you can't submit the quiz either. At this point, what do you have? You will just, you got the course content, right? So you can download the PDF. You have the videos, so you can watch all the videos. There are some questions in the video, right? They pause the video, they ask you a little question. Some of them are worth doing. Other ones, you literally have to type something. And you can type whatever you want. They automatically say, great job, good job, it's correct. I've typed complete nonsense into those things, and they accept it. They ask, like, what type of class could you set up for this type of problem? And then you need to type, I don't know, public, private. I'm just making this up now, right? But I could type dog, sheep, flippin' airplane. I could do just whatever I wanted, and they would just go, yes, that is correct. You could certainly have chosen something like this, and then they actually give you the right answer, but still. So I skipped a lot of those eventually, because I realized it's not worth it, right? I still did the multiple choice ones, try to get those right at least, because that's the only thing you can do and submit, is the questions they ask inside of the video. So in the end, and this is the other thing, the amount of content is very little. I was able to finish everything in 3.5 hours or 4.5 hours, something like that. Very little amount of time, very, very short amount of time. I was done with this whole course. I watched every single video and that's it. I don't know what else to do. I can't do any of the most of the assignments are locked behind a paywall or behind this peer-reviewed nonsense, which I'm not really interested in. And I'm done with it. I don't know what to say. I might go back and really try doing some of the problems myself and then grade myself, right? Do a self-assessment because I have the solution. They give you the solution at least. For some of them, only for very, very few of them, they actually give you the solution. That's not the norm. So I might have 1 or 2 things that I can go and do. And maybe if I really feel like it, and I want to go through the process of learning how to set up an Android application, then I might try that one. But honestly, I feel like I just need to continue. This is one of those courses, it feels like they are teaching you, it's very theoretical, it's weird. You'll know what I don't really have the words, can't put it into words, but it's not very concrete like the programming languages courses or even calculus. Calculus, here's a rule, this is how you prove it, go apply, here's an exam, whatever, you're doing the problems, right? This one's very abstract. And it also feels like a lot of this stuff you'll learn on the job, like maybe as a junior developer. If you go into a team and there's already a big code base, you'll learn a lot of these design principles in practice. And that's kind of what I hoped they would try and do. Let you practice the principles and not just listen to some actor reading a teleprompter in front of a slideshow. Maybe I'm too harsh. Maybe it is good. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Maybe I'm just a bit in a bad place. But basically, because of that, I was not very motivated to continue past the few hours I did do. Because guess what? The next 2 courses are from the same series. So yeah, looking forward to that. Okay, finally, let's get back to something that's a little bit more positive. Calculus. So I did calculus this week. You'll see that I did the morning sessions. I missed one morning because the website was down for some reason. So that was unfortunate, but whatever. So I got 9 hours of calculus done this week. I didn't end up doing the whole only work on Saturday and then take the whole Sunday off. I ended up splitting my 5 hours for the weekend over the Saturday and the Sunday. So I did 3 on Saturday and 2 on Sunday. And honestly, that already makes a big difference. It's way better. Way better. I really like this approach. So I will probably be continuing this approach into the foreseeable future. I need to wrap this up. So thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe. Leave a comment below. Tell me, what did you think about object-oriented design and the courses that follow? Do you feel the same? Am I being overly critical or just dumb? I don't know. Let me know. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next one. Cheers.